Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first meeting back together as a group. It's nice to see staff. Everybody else inside of our fish bowls or home of silence or whatever we want to call them. So thank you for coming this afternoon, and I will call the meeting for. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda unless there's some additions or corrections that we need to? So I'm just going to adopt Councilor second, please. Councilor Detail. Any further discussion on that? Okay, I'll call question on favor. Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have a conflict of interest in the items on the agenda this afternoon? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to item number three, and that's the public acknowledgement. So I have one this afternoon, and then I will turn over to anybody else. Excuse me, that we have one or two to mention. So, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the retirement of Helen Stanek from our staff at Uniplex. So, I've got a little bit of a prepared letter that I'm going to read to acknowledge her time with the city of Humboldt. So, Helen Stanek joined the city of Humboldt in the food service department on November 6, 1998. She has spent the last 22 years working in that department, operating the concession, running the satellite booth, and assisting with food prep and catering for major events. Helen then thought it would be among her duties to make sure that the food service department was successful each and every season. The kind of pride that Helen took in her role was something to be admired by many of her co-workers and the general public. It did not matter if it was a Bronco game, a major event, a long scale or tournament, her work ethic never changed. Helen resigned from the city on March 12th, and is hoping retirement allows her to spend more time with the family. On behalf of City Council and all the city staff, we thank Helen for her dedication and commitment to the food service department in the city of Humboldt. Just on a personal note, I know many times she served me coffee at Bronco games and various other events with my kids, hockey and whatnot. So she's always friendly and friendly. So I wish her luck in her future endeavors, and hopefully she has more time to spend with her family. Thank you. Does anybody else have any public acknowledgements? Councilor Ryan, please.
I'd like to acknowledge our branch librarian, Michael Edwards. For those who don't know, our librarian gave his notice a couple of weeks ago and he's moved on to an adventure. So I would like to thank Michael for his service to our community as branch librarian. He was the branch librarian, I believe he was hired in January 2017. So just probably much shy of 4 years of service. Under his term, the library, along with the board, has gone through many positive changes. And also, a lot of actions needed now in COVID-19, and now Michael's guided us through this. So, Michael's last day was on Friday. So, right now we're in the process of recruiting a new branch librarian. So, just like to thank Michael.
Good, thank you. Yeah, if you echo those kind words, Michael was an asset to the city. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything for public acknowledgements? Okay, seeing none, thank you. So we have a public hearing next. This is on the discretionary use application from Cal Tire Seed Funds. So I'm asked for a motion to go into public hearing. Councilor Morik, seconder, please. Councilor Hoffner, any comments on that? Okay, all in favor? That is carried, thank you. Okay, we have a public hearing. Do we have any submissions? Correct from the public or not? We sent notifications out to the neighbors and received nothing. Apparently, no phone calls. So, okay. Is there any comments from any of the councilors? I know sea cannons are a bit of a contentious issue sometimes, and I'm glad that there's all the bylaws to make sure that they're painted and properly. Sounds like they're going on the on-puts and slats and their chain link fence and motion to come out of our public hearing, please? Councilor Detail, second, please. Councilor Patchler, any further questions on that? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. We will adjust that further down in the agenda as well. Okay, item 5 is we have minutes from the regular council meeting. That was held August 24th, 2020, and that's on page 3. If there's any errors or omissions on that, can I please, Councilor Wyman?
Oh, it's just under my inquiry, the resident that I called lived on 12 and west of 6th. Yeah, it was not. So I just called, I must make a rule, west of 6th.
Okay, make that change, please.
Thank you.
Anything further on that? Okay. So if we can get a motion to accept those as Councilor Murray. As amended. Second, please. Councilor Leonard. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay. Now we have the minutes of the special meeting of council held September 21st, 2020. Okay. So can I have a motion to accept those as presented, please? Councilor Wyland, second, please. Councilor Huffner. Any questions on that one? That was pretty straightforward. One motion and so if there's no further questions, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Just a quick comment on that. So that was approval for the grant for the FCM to do a little bit more work on our asset management. This is an important step for the city. We need to have those plans in place in order to qualify for the gas tax that the federal government distributes every year. So it's also good planning that we can keep track of our assets and know what needs to be replaced at what time. And we've used it extensively over the years with our water and sewer, and this will help us with some of our other areas of the city. So it's important that we keep this work going. Okay. Item number 6 of delegations. I see we have nothing today. So we have 2 items under E for things requiring council's resolution. And the first one is the mayor's proclamation for Culture Days in Humboldt, and that's from September 25th to October 25th, 2020. That's on page 6. The proclamation is there for everyone to read. So I look for a motion to proclaim that month as Culture Days in the city of Humboldt. Councilor Wyland, second, please. Councilor Detail. Any further discussion on this? I guess just a comment. It's nice to see. Unfortunately, the chalk cart we were going to have last weekend on Saturday was postponed because of the rain. But I'm looking forward to having it this coming Saturday. So if you can make it out and handy with scribbling on the sidewalk with some chalk. If my granddaughters are in town that day, I think I'll do well. So thank you for that. So, and did I call a question on that? No. Okay. Thank you. And the next one is the letter to myself and council from Lori Crew. Lori has indicated desire to have, if she applies, I don't think she's purchased yet, she's just inquiring, to have the remains of her pet buried with her in according to the city bylaws. That's now allowed. I don't know about for discussion on this. I'm thinking I really don't have enough information myself to make a decision on this at this point. I don't know what council feels about it, but I would maybe look for a recommendation from council to send this back to administration for some some guidance on this to maybe check what is allowed in other cities throughout the province, just to make sure we have better information on this before we make a decision on this. I want to see some heads nodding on this. Let's maybe make a motion to do that. That's what we help. So to put it back to administration.
Yeah, I did some cursory research on this. It seems to be increasing requesting, but I would definitely recommend we refer back to administration because it was difficult in the research to determine how many places actually do allow something or if even is a provincial law that prevents us from putting it forward.
Okay, so we have a motion for a second, please. Oh, sorry, Councilor Mark.
I've also done some research on this because the request came to me a number of weeks ago, and it's difficult to find many places that do allow it. But there's also a lot of information where people are requesting it because people's lifestyles have changed and pets have become more family member than they were 10, 20 years ago. One thing that became very apparent, there seems to be no reason why not. That was what I saw very clearly in all the states that I looked at. So other than there are a couple places that had some religious belief regarding that animals being buried with human remains. So and that was it. So and I looked too many sites.
Yeah.
So I would certainly like to see it referred to for more information from all of us.
Sure. And I think that's, if we have that information, especially, pulling some other municipalities and see where maybe people have gone through this already in other locations or maybe some have considered it as well. So I think it's important that we can get that research by staff so we can make an educated decision on this. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I'll call it. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. So if we can maybe look at that for the next executive meeting and help us make a recommendation back to council here. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a number of items for information only. Item B, so we've got first one is a Ministry of Government Relations, and that's the Safe Restart Program on page 9. So if we go there, we can do these all, I think, in one motion. So the first one is the acknowledgement of the amount of money that we're receiving from the government. Start off, second page. Yeah, 350,000, sorry, yeah. I didn't see the amount on the first page, so yeah, so it's $350,000 and 109. So this is money that was designated to the community by the government just to help out with some of the COVID-related issues we've been experiencing as a community. I know we've had some preliminary discussion at our last executive meeting, and I think that's something that we need to consider, not just the city government per se, but a number of our nonprofit community are, I think, suffering because of not being able to fundraise properly through the COVID situation, and we also have a number of businesses that I think that are struggling. So I don't know. Maybe we should have a quickly bit of discussion on this, and if you want to make a recommendation that what we can do with this. I don't know. Does anybody else have any comments? I know we kind of maybe shouldn't make any rash decisions on this at this point. I know what's your deal.
I would be in favor of just setting it aside for now until we determine the extent of what is all needing addressing or we can assist with. I think it may just be a little bit too early to really designate some of that money until we know whether the COVID is actually under control or there's going to be a second wave or not. And I would just be hesitant to expend the requests in and further knowledge of the impact.
City manager. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, certainly from the discussion that we had with the council earlier and we had in committee, that certainly the idea was that we are interested in bringing forward any recommendations to expand this money for the time being. To Councilor Leo's comment, it wasn't going to be as you were at closer to year end or after year end. It was administration's expectations. Yeah. So any further comments on this one? And we'll situation at the Good Neighbors Forum who contributes to a number of charitable groups, and the city has announced that there are considerable cutbacks there. So I think that's prudent to just keep this aside until we know what kind of shape some of these groups are in. And it's a shame that some of them aren't going to have money to keep running some of the programs they are running. So okay, thank you. So I'll just move on to the next one is Municipal Alliance, the correspondence from Solange. We've all had a chance to read through there. She's made some good points in some of the programs that are running through the MSMA. I think we had a requested of them to provide a bit of the background to some of the programs they're doing, and so this is their response. So I don't know if does anybody have any comments or questions on any of this. I sit on that committee, so if somebody has any questions on any of this information, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I do believe that I was the instigator in asking for some of the successes and projects that the organization had accomplished over the last 7 years. And this letter certainly does address that. I think it'd be worthy for us to discuss it maybe more openly and more detail in the next executive meeting. There are some points in there that are well received, and there's other points that aren't close to need to ask a little bit more about. But I would recommend we get back to the discussion.
Okay, that sounds fair. Any further comments on that? Okay, so would you make that as a motion then?
Yes, I'll make that.
Okay. So I'll move a second here. Councilor Marek is seconding it. Any further discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Thank you. So if we can get that on the agenda for the next executive meeting, I think that would be prudent. Okay, minutes of the Reed Thompson Public Library Board meeting held February 24th, 2020. And that's also the one from May 21st, 2020 and June 2020. So we've got 3 steps there. So we can adopt them all at once, I'm assuming, can we? Okay, we can. So Councilor Wyland, did you have anything you wanted to add to any of those since you sit on that committee?
Oh, so we're going to sort of a long time. Oops. There's messages here from quite some time ago. Actually, since this, I tried to report that I believe the renovations are supposed to be finished. I actually haven't even gone in and looked myself yet. We did have a meeting, but I had to quick rush off to our executive meeting that we had our last library meeting. So one of the things that we did note, we did reopen, I believe, was the July libraries reopened. I think it's been a little slow on returns. I think people are still always not comfortable on the public side of our stats for a little forward. Hopefully that will be, coming up now. Start coming back. I know that meeting several people on board themselves said they hadn't actually been to the library due to COVID. So hoping that will get better as we fall here. So, and other than that, you already know that our national librarians last day was Friday, and we're presently in position of recruiting a new branch librarian, and I believe the deadline for the application was this Friday. So hopefully in a month or so, hopefully we'll have a new librarian.
Any further questions from council on that? Okay, so we can have a motion to adopt all A, B, and C of here. You understand that we're gonna action on these, so you might want to motion to just say it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so we will just have a motion to accept items A and item C as presented, please. Also, detail. Seconder, please. Mr. Wyland. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, and then we have the executive committee meeting held September 14th, 2020. So I'll turn the table over to the deputy mayor to lead us through there as he chairs that meeting, please. Also, Walter.
Yes, everybody's seen the things hopefully right, so they know what it's all about there. So could I get mover and the secondary to accept the minutes? Yeah. Counselor. Already counselor. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Yeah. Good. Thank you. And there's no items coming over that meeting then.
Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Mayor, what was the recommendations coming out of that committee meeting are actually within reports that are presented separately in this agenda. Okay, good. So being handled separately. Okay. Okay, we'll just keep moving here. So we have item number 9, city manager's reports. Did you have anything? No, Mr. Moore. Okay. Nothing there, no bylaws. And we're into new business. So we have a number of items, A, B, C, and D, and E. Looking for those. Item number 8 is the planning coordinator's report, and that's on the discretionary use application for the shipping containers on 917th Fifth Avenue. That's a Cal Tire location, and that's on page 27. So we had the public hearing for that. So I assume you're going to, city manager, actually, your worship, the director of protective services is prepared to speak. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a for recommendations to approve the discretionary use application of 2 shipping containers. The one was there previous, and the other one was moved in kind of a little bit ahead of the application for it. So, is there any questions on the report itself?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just, when you're allowed the sea cams to, do they require the spatial separation between the buildings and at all? This one looks like it's right again.
It is, yeah. So once it's approved, we're actually going to talk to them about the spatial separation from the property line and in between the buildings themselves.
Or my question is, are they been governed by our bylaws for direction?
Yeah. They basically follow the same for an accessory building.
Okay, so they wouldn't be like shed, which is.
No, if it's over the 10 square meters, then they follow the 2 foot setback from the property line and the 4 foot in between each CM.
Okay. Yeah, what's the procedure that, on, to make sure that paint is, according to the bylaw?
Well, that's something that Frank would have a discussion with Cal Tire, and he already has. They're aware of the colors, the neutral colors that they have to be, and they are willing to paint them whatever they have to.
Okay. And then we just follow up.
Yeah.
Just to Councilor Nordic's comments, if we have to enforce the ruling behind that, you're going to discuss it. For the drawing, because there's not room. There's not room prior to approving it. And they can be there.
That would be something we'd have to physically go there and measure and see if they have enough space that they can fit to. And if we find that they can't, then we would only allow them one.
Okay. So we're approving this in principle then, and then we follow up with the property owner at that point. Okay. Okay, so we will need a motion to proceed with this. Sure. Second, please. Councilor Hoffner. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I will call question, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, item B is Director of Protective Services again. This is the occupational health and safety audit and program development, and that's on page 30 of our agenda. So I will turn the call back over to the Director of Protective Services, please.
Okay, thank you. And the report is before you again, and the recommendation is that we sole source harness safety to build our new safety program for the city. We went through the RFP program, or process, and harness safety was the company that we had chosen for a couple different reasons. One, that they have municipality experience with the town of Mequon and the city of Melfort. And they've proven to be quite a valuable asset to us, I guess, in discussions. So we're looking to build our new system using harness safety. And I guess there is an executive summary of their audit after that's attached to this report.
Okay, is there any questions on what we are being asked to make a decision on? Just a comment, I think, and we did make that, and I did make this at the executive committee meeting, that safety, I think, is a very important part of what we're all about in the city hall here, and we did have a tragic accident a little over a year ago, and I think this is part of the evolution of that, to make sure that what we're doing is going forward is in a safe manner, and that it's documented properly and in the system. So I think this is a good move. Look forward to it being completed. So okay. So I will need a motion to cover proceed with this, I guess, and the motion and a second. Also, Nordic is the motion maker. We have a second, please. Also, healthcare. Any further discussion on this? Okay, so none. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, and then the Director of Corporate Services report, and that's the executive committee and council meetings. So this is in regards to the civic election on in November. So I will turn it over to the Director of Corporate Services to bring us up to speed on this one, please.
Thank you. The reports in regards to the council meetings during the civic election of 2020. So the recommendation, the council meeting schedule will be modified for the upcoming weeks based on the following schedule. The October 13th executive committee will be there as a special council meeting, not an executive committee. The October 26th regular council meeting will be canceled due to the provincial election after that date. The November 23rd, 2020 regular meeting would be held, and it would also be the swearing in of the new council during that meeting. And then we would call a special council meeting on March 7th for the 2021 budget deliberations. Does anyone have any questions?
Questions on that? I know we had a very good discussion of this at the executive committee level, and we're all familiar with it. I see.
Well, I guess my question or concern was that we're not going to be having an executive meeting, which I did was our executive meeting. And I'm just wondering, when I look at this, is the first meeting of council, I mean, I won't be here, but are you having an executive meeting in November? Because that looks to me like you're getting almost right into budget decisions, and I guess I'm wondering, just wondering about that, because I just really feel like we should.
The November 23rd meeting would be the first one of the office. And so we really couldn't do assessing of the prior to that. So the November 9th meeting would be executive council. So then we officially the office, any of the council would be in office after that date.
Okay, I see. There is a comment. So I'm sure you can see me through the glass or not. Yeah, to the council Wyman's question, certainly between the November 9th election date and November 23rd swearing in date, we do anticipate we'll have some meetings or assemblies of the
incoming council for some orientation purposes and that sort of thing. So if there's some justification to call something or handle some matters that are kind of conversational or just discussion based, I think there's going to be an opportunity for it, but we didn't want to set up a particular date as an executive meeting prior to that November 23rd. But certainly I expect there to be some orientation sessions and discussions with the incoming council. So I guess my question is, at what date does transition take over? Like, is it on the swearing in date, or is it the election date, or how does that work? Yeah, the new council doesn't have any authority before the swearing in date, so I do expect that there is still some responsibility on the existing council until that date. But you know what, that isn't the area that I've been asked that question before. So okay, we will research that. Okay. I just want to know when I have to take my mayor hat off. Anyway, so we have the reports on the news, and if there's no further questions, I'll ask for a motion by Councilor Beagle, seconder, please. Councilor Jorgensen. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. So do we need to give notice then publicly for meetings that are being tested in public things? Okay, thank you. So we'll go to our regular channel. Okay, thank you. Item number D is Director of Protective Services report, and that's the replacement of the 2021 Freightliner pumper. That's on page 37. I'll turn the floor back over to the Director of Protective Services, please.
All right, thank you. The report is before you, and so this is for the replacement of our 2001 Freightliner. We did go up to tender, and we ended up with 8 different bids that came in for this truck. Out of the 80 bids, I've listed them all in order from the least expensive to the most expensive, the availability, whether they meet the specs that we put out or they don't, or they exceed the specs. And then from that, we basically went by 73 different points that we thought were important in a fire truck. We listed the from left category 1 to 6, scoring them, and we came up with one that well exceeded everybody else. So that's our recommendation is to go with the Seahawk. Because it's a demo unit that's already been built. It does come with a number of extras that are above the tender that we did put out, and the availability is right away. And it does put us into a deficit for a couple of years in our capital replacement program. Jason, fill me out, or fill me in here that by 2024 we should be into the positive, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so is there questions on this? It's a little bit, I guess, maybe different than what we're normally doing with something like this. It's, I guess, a demo unit, so Councilor Mark.
Yes, I'd like to speak to the fact that it's a demo unit. And certainly, it is advantageous to use it or to purchase a demo unit. In my experience, often when you're the first receiver of a new vehicle, they are a built vehicle just for your specs. So often there's problems, and quite often I've experienced a drug having to go back to the plant. And so you're out of service for a while, especially if you've already committed your own truck to the sale to another community. So you can be out of service for a while with the truck. So it's important to have an opportunity for them to get the bugs out of the system. And so, yeah, definitely.
So you're saying it's not only an advantage in price, but it's an advantage of getting something that's been tested, I guess, and working properly.
Yeah, reliability off the vehicle.
Okay. Mr. Pratchett?
Thank you, Your Worship. I want to commend the director on 2 aspects of this that I see as really positive. First is to not necessarily find the cheapest, but to find the best value. And a lot of times we make decisions that maybe are based on monetary only, and we don't look at all the benefits of our time. So that's my first And the second one is a very well laid out plan on how we can manage the finance. Because we budget things and we have rough ideas, and when the state can budget, when an opportunity presents itself, we need to find a way to make that work. And we've done a very good job with those. And I'm assuming you work very closely with the finance manager on this. Thank you.
Just a quick comment from myself. I see this sort of like the last truck we purchased, where we ended up buying a used unit that was far exceeded what we were looking for, but just because of that fact, we ended up with a unit that's has a lot of use left in it, and we ended up getting a better value for what we paid for it. So I look at this along the same lines. My question, I guess, is the deficit that we're going to have. Is that money is still coming out of our vehicle replacement program as a whole from all the units? Then is that not just the emergency services, but so we'll just take some money from there, move it into here, and then back home again? Is that, am I understanding it correctly?
Yes, Your Worship. In essence, the protective services segment of our fleet reserve will show a deficit in their segment of it. But overall, the fleet reserve is still quite healthy because we're not purchasing necessarily in the next couple of years some of the big equipment from some of the other departments. But we believe, and irrespective of whether we bought this truck in 2020 before the end of our fiscal year or whether we bought it in 2021, which was the initial plan, in essence, it was either way, it was going to put us into a bit of a deficit until 2024 anyway. So this was kind of presented to council before authorizing the chief to go to our up to tender anyway. So, but yes, it's good to see that our fleet plan is working the way that we kind of intended it to, and that, you know what, within a couple of years, we're back in the black again and saving up for the next big purchases. And we're able to get into the unit a little bit quicker, and I believe that the trade on the old unit, or not the trade, but resale of the old unit is go on the right here, so give me some money there. Okay, sure.
Yes, I don't recall the parameters of the agreement with the Borough Association. So do they still have to vote on this?
Yes, we have a meeting on October 6th to discuss it with the association. Okay, so it's a 70-30 split, 70% city, 30% HDP, Humboldt District Fire Protection Association.
We have a partnership with them on this. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so our approval here tonight, set forth the motion to take it to the group. Okay. Okay, any further discussion on this? Okay, I'll look for a motion to proceed with this. Councilor Jarvis there. Councilor Patchford. Any last discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay. Item E is the finance manager's report. This is the funding, preliminary funding for the wastewater lagoon project. As you're all aware, the provincial government has decided to put our, I'm calling it a mega utilities project because it's, I think, by far the biggest works and utilities project we've ever completed in the city. So the provincial funding was much appreciated, and now it's in what I hope is going to be approval by the federal government to proceed with this as well. But we need to fund our share here, which works out to about $9 million. So I'll turn it forward to the finance director and Jace, if you could take us through the report and let us know how you feel we can come up with this question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. My report is to accept for information and for file. As you said, the province has approved the project. Our portion would be just over $9 million. I do have a chart there laying out what our yearly payments would be, just based on a few different interest rates. The report goes forward using the range of those four interest rates there. At the end of next year, we do have 5 loans coming to term. And we will recapture nearly $480,000 worth of debt. So we won't be able to fully fund the project from debt capture, but a good portion of it will be. You see there's about $105,000 to $145,000 amount annually that we will need to still fund. There's a few different options of doing that. One, you can extend the amortization period, you can increase utility rates, implement a base tax, or fund it through offsite levies. And as it says in the conclusion there, it is still the early stages. There are no financial implications of accepting the report here. But we just kind of wanted to illustrate to council that it is realistic to fund this project.
Questions or comments? I know that we're not making a decision on this tonight, but this is just sort of some early figures that, and in my mind, when over the last year or so, when we were talking about this project and the numbers started coming in, and I was really concerned about, how are we going to finance this? Because it's, $10 million is not an easy sum of money to come up with, considering when we built the hospital. I think we hit the number at that time was $5 million for the city. So it's something that I was very concerned about. So it looks like we have options here that are going to be a tremendous benefit to the city. So, Councilor Beagle, did you have that?
I'm very impressed with what the notes so far. I second everything you're saying exactly. It puts the perspective a lot more into manageability and easier to translate numbers for us. Until we have some further information, I appreciate it's not easy to make a solution, but extending the long term for 5 years doesn't seem like too harsh of a reality if it helps keep some of our overall cost to taxpayers down in the long term. And it really amounts to $72,000 difference over 5 years. It's not a significant portion. And given the current economic situations, if we do go forward with it, I think it's probably the most fiscally responsible thing we can probably do.
Further questions, Councilor Whalen?
Well, I guess it's probably my last word, so I'm gonna set my recommendation. I decided to possibly feel like what I'm looking at option is the best option. Not that it's a good option, but I mean, the best one we have, because we have to keep in mind, we're already increasing utility rates so much already every year, which people are already finding it hard to manage. And that's just because our water rates go up with last water, and then we have to pass those on to our citizens. So, to me, the increasing utility rates specifically for this is not the best option, because we already have to increase them. And offset levies, we don't know what's going to happen with that. That's dependable, I don't think. Base tax, I'm rather worried about, increasing that. Another, I know that when we built the hospital, we had the door tax, what they called it. I really would prefer not to see another added tax or another added levy. And to me, I like the comment about if you extend it for that extra 5 years, then you would fully fund it from debt capture. So to me, that's the best option, but I'm moving on.
Thank you, Your Worship. Certainly when the director, the manager of finance and I went through the options of bringing reporting this to council, the essence of it was we need to assure our council and our community that this organization, our city of Humboldt organization, can afford our land and our share without creating undue hardship on our citizens. And so we did look firstly at where we have debt that was retiring and opened up some cash flow for that purpose. And fortunately, it just starts to, we've been good at managing some of the loans that that have occurred in the past, and we're not having to take on any loans recently. That really opens up a big opportunity for us to use that cash flow for this purpose, which I think is our highest need. And when we discovered that, really the conclusion was this is what we need to bring to council. And there's lots of
fine details you have to work out as we go through this. And certainly we're gonna look for other grant opportunities through other branches of government and organizations. We want to assure council that, this is, that the community can manage our share of the debt here. And there's even portions of reserve, like we basically said, maybe $1.5 million for reserve. That number is still flexible. The utility reserve has a higher level than that. But we didn't want to bring it down to zero. So, but the idea was that it would be some reserve as well. So really, I don't want council to get into the details here tonight. I just want you to be assured that we are on top of this and looking for it and looking for other opportunities to decrease the burden on the taxpayers and utilities of the community. Okay. Further questions? Yes, just the final client on this, and I know we've been working diligently with this group around the table the last number of years, paying off debt, not getting into new debt, if at all possible. Trying to be fiscally responsible. I think we all knew that this project was coming, and it's nice to be able to look at it and say, we can fund this without hardship to the community. I look at the combination of the number 4 with the offset levies. Part of the reason we're doing this big expansion is in the hopes that the HP will come through and get that line up and going here in the next little while. And I'm hoping that if that's the case, that we will be able to maybe receive a little bit more offset levies because of the development that will be created from that project in our community. And so there's maybe some opportunity there as well, even though we have maybe that may not be, but I'm optimistic that that will be the case. And if we can do some of this and extending that 5 years out, I've always been a point of, and we saw it a little bit on the Super PAC project. When I was on council here, and it's we spread that out over a number of years because it's not just the current taxpayers that are using these facilities, it's the future as well. So, it doesn't make, in my mind, a lot of sense to burden the taxpayers of today with something that is going to be used in the next 20 to 30 years. So if we stretch this out to 20 years, I see nothing wrong with that. If we can ease the burden on the next couple of years of taxpayers. That's my comments. So if there's
I had a prominent businessman came to me today, and he was speaking about this possible loan that may come up, and he brought along his invoice for the bill for the last month, and he said that he would like to see extended out as long as possible. So he kind of fits in with paying and also offset levies. That was his discussion. But he said, besides that, he said there's no more lines left on the invoice to have another levy.
And I agree 100% with that. And I'm hoping that there'll be a few more lines freed up from the levies as they get, and that's the whole idea of, and I've mentioned this a lot before, is a levy should be a temporary. It shouldn't be a permanent thing. And that's why we separate them all, so that when you pay it off with the less than one, it comes off and then you don't pay it anymore. So when you hide things in the tax bill, it tends to stay there permanently. So good. So I'm hoping we can just finance this with existing money and we don't have to do any of that. Okay, any further questions? If not, I'll ask the motion to accept finance manager's report. Councilor Behill, Councilor Norton. Any last further discussion on that? In that, I'll call question. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Looking forward to this proceeding and our money coming in, and we can start trying some meals here. Peter, what's the next steps here once that's approved? Do we need to go back Do we need to refine any of the planning, or do we just go with tender, or is there some preliminary work that needs to be done on this project? How does that work?
So the first report that we have completed is the preliminary design. So the next stage will actually create a request for proposal for consulting to do the detailed design of the construction project. And then after the detailed design is complete, that is when it goes to tender.
Okay, so say this is approved tomorrow, which it probably won't be, but if it would be, that would then just start the seeding throughout the winter then, is that, I'm hoping we're gonna hear something probably before year end on this, I'm hoping, so. How does that, are we gonna be able to put shovels in the ground next year, or is it 2022, or?
One of my highest priorities is creating an RFP for consulting services. So as soon as we have, if we receive the go-ahead, we would like to get that out to the industry as soon as possible through SAS tenders and such, and start that evaluation process, and hopefully be in designs as soon as possible. It would be fantastic to have shovels in the ground next year, depending on when we get the design, and however, will be a determining factor in that. The design on something this big will take some time, so if we could get a portion of the summer into the fall in the ground, that would be wonderful. That would be my intent, but however, time will tell.
And that detailed design, is that all included in this $34 million? That's all part of it then?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, unfinished business. Is there anything like that? Okay. Inquiries for staff. I'll floor over to any council members that may have an inquiry for staff. Okay, I just have a quick question. Maybe you could just bring us up to speed on some of the painting. I see 7th Street that started today, and if you can just give us a quick overall of what's happening with our English project.
Sure. So yes, the Street is currently underway. They did put a base, the first lift in on Friday over on the north section. So they are putting the base lift on the remaining portions of 7th Street. And then they'll be putting on the final topping of the asphalt layer. And they have already completed 101st Street and Sask Avenue, so those two projects are completed. The thin overlay of stepping will occur shortly after all this work is completed, and then the patching will occur in between those projects.
So they're doing the deep patching, as we call it, and that will take place in between the other projects. Okay. Good. I think also I'm just smiling after the announcement that 101st is done, so that was again a long affair. Glad the council here decided to utilize some of the provincial funds for getting that project knocked off. And I told by the other day it was through. That's what staff and council will get that one knocked off. So, okay. Any other inquiries then? So nothing under committee of the whole. So I will look for a motion to adjourn. Please, Mr. Jorgensen, seconded by Council Neville. Further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.